So what I'm hearing is that the process of action is also complemented with a process of reflection. So what do you see as the process as far as reflection entails or consultation? You see that that has an application.
Well, I think that the drum circle can be a process of practicing consultation. Like I mentioned earlier, that you try to have each voice heard in the circle, and so that's part of the process. So first, I would say the first exercise would be listening, because that's very important, right? Baha'u'llah says the wise are them that do not speak. I have to paraphrase, but first they have to obtain the hearing. They do, yeah, they can't speak before they have the ability to hear. So that's kind of the spirit that I think we should have in incorporating the arts, especially the music.
So consonant with that, how does one begin to develop the skill of listening?
Practice, practice, practice. Yeah, yeah. You just have to practice, and you have to trust. And really, it's in the principles of consultation. You put your view out there, and you have to be detached. So the person that's skilled in music in this context also has to be detached, which is probably why sometimes you don't have enough input from artistic people. So I think what I like about this process is actually calling. It's actually asking those people who may not think of themselves as, participators in the Baha'i community, because they're not administrators. They don't like to go to meetings. They you know aren't used to saying prayers. So it provides an opportunity for those voices to be heard.
As far as community building is concerned, uh, when you have a drum circle, you, especially in a Baha'i gathering, it becomes an opportunity for reflection, but it also becomes an opportunity for devotion and prayer and chanting and so on. And of course, devotional gatherings is one of the four core activities uh, as of yet. So my question is, what role can drum circles have in community building? Um, I see many cultures can come in. I see many diverse styles can come in, different instruments. But I'm wondering, how can a community be transformed through something like a drum circle?
I guess the best way I can respond to this question is, it you first thing is to maybe invite a non-Baha'i, or someone that who is rooted in a drumming tradition, and maybe just focus on that tradition to just kind of get people familiar, whether it's Native American, whether it's Afro-Caribbean or specific culture, just as a basis to just kind of maybe learn some patterns. So that's one way to look at it, that you can incorporate that. But with prayer, the drums are a tool, and the drums should not overwhelm the holy text. So it really needs, in this way, we have to kind of think of different ways of using that tool. And in fact, I would say it doesn't have to be a drum circle. It could be flutes, it can be guitars, it could be the human voice. In fact, some ways you can start with the human voice. Um, in a black men's gathering, um, we would hum. We would hum while people were praying. A particular melody. La 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 la. So you had that melody throughout. Someone would read a prayer. Someone would read the tablet of Al-Ahmad. Someone would, do the long healing prayer with this hum. But because of the sound and the unity of the voices, it just created that embellishment, that ornamentation that you see around the sacred text. So that's the purpose, if it's devotion.
There's an old story related in the Hadith in Islam, and it states something to the effect that the companions of Muhammad were gathered together and were attempting to figure out what would be an appropriate way to call the people to prayer. And so they began by thinking, and first they said, perhaps we will use the bell. And then they said, well, no, the Christians use the bell. And they thought of the ram horn. And they said, well, the Jewish synagogues can use a ram horn. And finally, they began to settle on an idea. They said, why don't we use the drum? Because the drum is an instrument of Arabia in very much a beautiful way. They thought about this a little bit, and they said, well, there's too much blood in a drum. They, as far as war and the battle cry entering with the drums and so on. So in the end, they said, why not use the human voice? Because the human voice is given to us, so to speak. It's a gift of God. And so they settled on the human voice. And now we hear from mosques, for example, the call of the human voice. And we know that in the Mashrukul Azkar, Baha'u'llah says that we must use the human voice. So what do you think is the role of the drum and other instruments of that nature in the revelation and dispensation of Baha'u'llah? Do you think it has undergone some transformation, has a different meaning, or does it have its own niche and its own?
Well, I have used it as a tool. Now I play two types of drums. I play the tombak, which is a Persian drum, which is very soft and subtle drum, and I play the djembe, which is a very loud African drum, very loud. And at times when I'm with the friends, if people are talking and there may be a person that's trying to get order, to get people to quiet down, I'll break out the djembe and I'll start playing really loud on it, and so it'll get everyone focused to settle down, and get ready for the meeting or for the prayers or whatever is going to happen. And then once we have everyone's attention, then I can make sounds like water with the tombak, very nice sounds like rain and wind when people are meditating, or listening to the words of Baha'u'llah. So part of it is to just help to facilitate the environment.